Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of Professionals Unplugged. I am your host Utkarsh Shukla and let me introduce you to my guest Kishita. Kishita, thank you so much for accepting our invite.
Thank you for inviting me, Utkarsh. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much, Kishita. So let me give a brief about Kishita. Kishita is a founder as well as a coach as well as a mentor. She helps people in guiding them through their careers and helping them throughout their path. And it will be great to know all these things from her because she is the one doing it and she can describe it more perfectly rather than I am describing it. So, Kishita, it will be great to learn from you. Like, what are you currently doing and what are the reasons behind it? So we can firstly start with your intro.
Thank you, Utkarsh. Thank you for giving me this platform to introduce myself. I am currently a coach and consultant majorly. I work with so I have a lot of prongs to my work, but I majorly work with leadership professionals and people who are either about to become leaders or are leaders and choosing to become senior leaders. I work with them for internal career transition as well as external career transition, which mean either finding a new role or internally getting promoted. I work with a couple of consulting firms for that. So, there are many big names we are aware of in the market for HR. So, I work with them to enable these kind of projects. You are right that I have been a founder. So, I do have a recruitment practice, but that is now purely, like one-to-one consulting. So, I don't do group hiring and all of that anymore. I only work with companies to guide them or help them build a practice. So this is majorly the two areas. The third, which is like a parallel area, which I'm very happy about, is I am very focused on my LinkedIn profile. So I've been helping CXOs in building their LinkedIn brands as well.
So
So yeah,
just a
yes.
question around it. So it's basically for the leaders or like it's for the students as well or who are college graduate. Can they be beneficial by this mentorship or
Yes. So generally, people who do MBAs also work with me. Uh, I won't recommend someone who is a direct, graduate of, say, bachelor's of commerce or bachelor's of engineering or anything like that. I don't recommend them to go for mentorship because currently they would rather need, on-the-job experience. So you should at least have 3 to 4 years of experience post-graduation. Or if you have done an MBA and have, some experience before that, then it makes sense for us to work together.
that's great to know. And starting from your journey, you have done your engineering and you completed in 2012, right? If I'm not
Correct.
with my facts, right?
Correct. Yes.
So, can you just give us a brief about your journey, like how your career was and how you came up to this path of coaching? Because engineering is completely different from what you're doing right now. So, it will be great
Yes.
to know your story as well.
Yes. So I believe engineers are the most versatile people on this planet, okay? Because engineering readies you or prepares you for toughest of the situations. Plus, it makes you that person who can deliver, even like if you just ask for something this evening, you can deliver it just a minute before, but you'll be able to deliver it. So that it is that programming that works very well. See, I was already on a path of being a coach, which is at an educational level. Uh, After I turned 60, because I was a breadwinner for my family at that age also. So I was already on a path of being a tutor, being a teacher, being a coach. So I was doing competitive exam coaching. I was doing helping people prepare for IIT JEE. At that time, we also prepared for AIEEE, all of that. So I was involved, like I was interested in learning and I was interested in coaching. So that was already set. So when I graduated from engineering, I was holding an offer like anyone from TCS because I was from a tier two engineering college. But I was already doing quite well for myself in terms of monetary aspect, as well as my interest had already developed into helping people learn something new quite a lot. So my journey actually has been very weird in terms of what I've done later. So people know physics wala would do coaching of physics and all because they have some background in it. I ended up choosing commerce side and GMAT, SAT, GRE, quants basically again competitive exam coaching. So I was interested more in that. So I had an education institute there also. So that was the start. And from there, I also found recruitment to be interesting because academic coaching after a point of time, it plateaus. It doesn't engages you that much
So it's
as
like,
a
yeah,
yeah.
to cut you. So as like you completed your graduation and then you had the offer from TCS, but you didn't join it. You
Yes,
you had your own setup of coaching.
correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was more interested in that. Um, Recruitment also, as I said, it was see, I never jumped completely at once. I always had something running in parallel, and if I wanted to experiment, I would experiment along with it because it doesn't make sense to quit something and then start something new right now. That it doesn't work like that. So I was already having the educational institute and coaching at so many places. Along with that, I started experimenting with recruitment because that also technically is very natural. Like you are already used to working with so many people, and they are themselves going for jobs. So recruitment technically is very natural for you to transition to. So I learned it, but I was more interested in on the technical recruitment side. So then built a brand in that, then built a firm in that. Along with that, again, interested in consulting companies and helping them internally rather than just being a vendor. That okay, we'll help you hire for XYZ position. I was interested in being involved directly and helping them set up a proper process rather than just relying on your someone's ideas that oh new HR says this.
Right.
I would rather coach founders. So that came into picture. And of course, pandemic changed a lot of things for a lot of people. So it is around the pandemic that, this kind of opportunities came into picture. And I realized that I'm actually very good when I work one is to one rather than, working with an entire team. And I saw that recruitment also was becoming very technical in terms of tools and all. So a traditional recruitment setup would not survive anymore. Everybody is interested in, what kind of software do you have? What kind of, access will you give us? What kind of account will you give us? So I saw that happen. So again, a transition happened. See, the reason I have chosen to be a transition coach is because I have transitioned so many times. And from a consultant internally at a company to being a coach also. That is also something that I saw happening in the last 3 years. So that is somewhere around 2021 end. And it was very surprising to see that as a recruiter and as a TA head, you know so much, but people don't know that because they just understand one side of it.
Yeah.
So I always thought, if someone can say exactly what is to be said, people can benefit quite a lot. So that is the reason I stepped into coaching also. Currently balancing between both consulting, coaching, and again, one more passion project that is the CXO branding.
That's really great to hear. I think you mentioned a great point at the starting, like you never quit on one thing, and in order to start another, you keep them in parallel. I think that's very
Correct.
important to know because sometimes people try to follow their passion or they quit their job and sometimes they end at a stage where they have nothing to do or they lost most of the things. So calculated
Yeah,
risk is very important. I think that's what we just learned from your story. You need to be sure of what you are doing and as well you don't need to quit until or unless you are pretty much sure that the thing's going to work for sure. Right.
exactly, exactly.
And how do you find this CXO coaching? And can you just brief us on it? Like, how does that part work?
So CXO coaching, see, when I say CXO, it will be CEO, CO, any kind of CPO kind of a title. See, the general assumption is that everybody knows what they are doing. It's just that there's always some kind of fog, some kind of confusion, some kind of issue that is, plaguing their mind and not letting them perform at their best. So as a coach, the mentality is not that, okay, I will teach a CXO how to be a CXO. It is that I will help the CXO clear that fog. So that differentiation is something that I've been working on. Of course, I'm getting certified. I am also going through an education on it. But I have been able to do that before because I have been a founder. So I've done a lot of business development. I have spoken with a lot of stakeholders for, really getting their money to be invested in my business. So that's where the skill also comes into picture as to how to deal with them or how to talk with them. Um, Secondly, a lot of these conversations are, you would be surprised to know that they are not really around work. They are more around, I am facing this issue. I think something is missing. I think something is happening. So most of it, as I said, is about clearing brain fog. literal brain fog. So that's where I come into picture. That's what I can tell you. And most coaches or executive coaches, which you talk about, they are not in anyone's life to tell them how to run things. Okay, that is a very different kind of coach. Even cricket coaches or even tennis coaches, you will find majority of their work is about coaching mentally rather than coaching physically. So they do, of course, they are from the sport, so they do know a lot of it. But being there mentally is more important for them.
And
So that's, yeah, helping people build their potential is what I do.
it's really great to know. And I know there must be many challenges that you are facing while doing these jobs. So, if I ask you, what were the challenges from your initial journey, from the inception of this till now, what you will say? Like, what were the biggest challenges that you have faced?
Oh, so many, so many. I mean, see, when you say you're a founder, matlab, you have seen you have seen so many patches of times wherein you have no money, wherein you are actually in a lot of debt, and wherein you are just surviving that. Okay, now I'm paying my team, now I'm spending on these tools that I need, but now I have no money to withdraw. So seen that at least 3 to 4 times for a very long patches, because see, there's nothing called good or bad business. It is just about have you finally started doing something that is clicking for you or not. So what I found is I still have time to experiment as a solo person, and then again build a team to build a bigger business, because I was never thinking about scaling as such. It was more about survival, because recruitment was a tough market. It's not easy to crack. Again, both education, recruitment, both are very tough markets. So, lot of challenges in terms of maintaining the cash flow. The first would be that. Second is, see, when you work with CXOs, at least in my current work that I'm doing, I have close to 4,350 hours of experience in one-to-one coaching. That is completely separate from the other work that I do. Uh, you don't get that without getting some kind of negative feedback. So the negative feedback, generally in my case, when I started, is I am almost 20 years younger to the person I'm coaching. So, like how does that work? So negative feedback is direct, that I'm being proposed by the consultancy, but no, they are not ready to believe in me because she's young. So what is that? That was not working. Second is once you start connecting with them, CXOs indulge. They have a tendency to talk in a way, wherein you can be weaved into their story, and you would also forget, you are there to coach them. So I did face issues initially regarding having really concrete conversations, but with the same person, when I had repeated 3 4 conversations, generally 6 to 9 conversations are planned, I was finally able to crack that. Okay, this is where I can bring in some expertise to them, because as I said, it's not about showing that I know more. It is about helping them understand that, okay, there is a light bulb moment that you can have, and that can change your current situation. So I had to work on that quite a lot. Of course, we all do, but yeah, CXOs are like the premium batch of people you can work with. But it helps when they see that you're also an ex-founder and all that. They do trust.
That's great to know.
Finally, they do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, just a one question on the same, like you mentioned, when you were working with people who are 20 years older than you, and it was becoming a bit difficult for you to make them trust that you have those capabilities, right? So,
Hmm.
how do you overcome this point? Like, what were your thought process?
Yeah. So one is there's a concept of having a structure. Whoever you deal with, you can be dealing with someone who is, younger to you, same level as you, or older or elder to you. There's a structure in coaching which you follow. So when I started my certification in ICF, I got a structure. Initially, I was very raw because I am a founder. I was more about, I'm going to solve this person's problems. But once I started getting a structure because of my certification, uh, again, it's a very big process. It's not a small process. It started making things easier, because it's about building a power dynamic, whether you give the other person the power or not. So it's about being equal partners. So there are certain rules and certain not rules technically, but the pillars which you can follow. to build these conversations, and it takes practice. It takes hundreds of hours to understand how to not ask certain questions and how to only ask certain questions, so that the conversation goes deeper as well as it goes forward. So that is something that I worked on, and it helped a lot.
Yeah, I think this is a problem not only to coaching but all those professions as well. Sometimes it happens a lot with anyone, or we can say with everyone, like where they have to deal with people who are older than them and vice versa for the same, right? So there need to be a structure that um, we need to follow in order to deal with such situations. I think it's pretty
Yes,
valid answer, I can say, and relatable as well.
yes,
Right.
yes.
And coming to the second point that you have mentioned for maintaining the cash flow, right? So there, as you have mentioned, there were many points throughout your career where you have to deal with the team and scaling. So what is your thought process on scaling, and how do you think it's good to scale and when not to scale?
Yeah, you know what? See, scaling is very enticing because generally people are very happy to hear that you're scaling. So, for example, in the market, when I pitched to different clients, I would tell them that we just set up our office here like 2 years back, even though we were in operation from home quite some time back. So, and we have a team of say 7 recruiters, and the it would appeal to them so much that, oh wow, you already have 7 recruiters, oh that bigger team, okay, okay, and you all are doing technical, okay. So that is the kind of conversations were there. So I was also enticed by scaling, but what I learned is uh you would rather have a lean team that can deliver, pay them better, rather than having too many people doing fragmented functions, and which are technically not coming together also. So I believe my learning was that I was not seeing the view from the top, that what exactly, how are these kind of things coming together? How are each function enabling each other? Because in recruitment, see, technically everybody can have a specialty, all recruiters can have. But that doesn't mean you need to hire so many recruiters. There are people who can hire for all roles. I realized after some time that I was that person, that I couldn't hire for so multiple roles because I had the understanding. So, for any business, for that, I would like to add that not to scale without seeing the, like it's like, okay, finally, I think I cannot take this. I need someone to delegate. And if you see that something that is, like so irritating for you, and it is really just like maybe a 1 or 2% part of the job, you can still hire someone maybe on a part-time basis and, assign it to them. No need to go hiring people full time all the time. That's not required.
I think quality over quantity is what we can take.
I think that is going to sustain everywhere. But this see, it's a once you do it, once you burn yourself, then only you realize once you burn your hard-earned money. So, for example, towards the end, when I wrapped up my business, I was in so much of debt that I had to spend almost an entire year just earning and paying it off. So I was earning very well after it. I got very good consulting gigs and very good coaching gigs. But it took me a year to just make that money and pay off, even when the business is no longer, working in that format. So it is something that you have to be ready for when you have no funding. And in service businesses, of course, generally there is no funding, and you are a solo, like it was a proprietorship kind of a setup. Then you have to be ready that this kind of scene or situation can happen.
Yeah, I think the risk is always there and you need to be ready for it.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. But there's nothing sweet about all this if you don't take risks. It cannot be too easy always.
yeah, that's right. Life is never easy. Same goes for on. So if I ask you for your advice, like you have now around more than 12 years of experience as a entrepreneur, I can say from the very beginning. So what advice you would like to give to the young people who are who have just graduated or just passed out from their college?
I can say many things here, but the first thing is don't be enamored, or don't be attracted to having teams and being a boss and all of that so much. Be attracted to what you want to be. Okay, you want to be good at a certain skill, certain area. Choose that, learn, invest, Whatever you earn, invest again, then only you will have an idea whether you're ready to be a founder entrepreneur or not. Because we are in a time wherein a single person can also, handle an entire business. So if you are open to the idea of, being a multitasker or being someone who has an idea of a lot of areas, you will have a better time than, someone who is just trying to build teams right away. Because there's no guarantee that what you're building is going to be, even going to sustain or survive or is going to get any interest. So one is that. Second is build service first and then think of product. I have not built a product yet. I am working on building my own, digital products for coaching. But you can do that only when you have experienced service. Then only you will realize where are the areas wherein you can suffice, or where are the areas wherein you can help someone. So that is there. If you want to work on products, of course, work under someone first and then build yours. Apart from that, finances, yeah, please save early. Like, it will save you. If you are planning to be a founder, and if you're that kind of a genius who's building something extraordinary, you will need backing. So while it grows, while you do all the hustle and hard work, make sure you have saved money for yourself, because for a long time you'll not be making any money as a founder. That is something that you'll find everywhere, that even when your company is doing well, you will not withdraw that much. You will definitely have good value. You will definitely have good, value on paper also, but you won't be withdrawing that much. So plan very well for your finances. If your finances are not allowing you to take up a business at this moment, don't. Yes, first work, build that saving, and then think of it. You'll find a lot of comedian stories also, by the way, to be similar. That they all also have also. That's the reason they are from IITs. That they build their base, then they build their finances, and then they go for all this. And yeah, the last would be the same as I said in between. That don't jump. Not, it doesn't work for everyone. Yeah, if you're from a privileged background in terms of finances, in terms of like having choices and options, then of course I'll not stop you. But otherwise, sustain the current source while building the passion project, or while building the second experiment that you're doing. It will, while it is a little more taxing, it will still keep you sane in terms of having stability, because new projects and products can take a lot of time to fly.
Yeah, I think these are very valid points that you have just mentioned. And the first one, especially where you have said you need to invest on yourself as well. Because nowadays I have found people are very much afraid to invest even 1,000 rupees on themselves, and where they can freely spend that on food or anything else. So I think this is where something we need to improve as a young people, where you need to learn that it's okay to invest on yourself, even if it's costing you money. And if you, because I think I made this mistake at the earlier point of my career, where I was thinking like, why to invest on yourself where you can get free data from YouTube or any other open source documentation. But there is a difference where when you get these things through coaching or through experience rather than directly consuming it from open source documentation. So I think that is what really matters. And these are some really good points. I hope it will help other people. Coming to the last question, Kishita, at this point of your life, what is your dream right now?
Oh, at this point of time, my dream is, it is as cliche as it gets, but I want to do something that I like, but for not too much amount of time. Like, I want to, if I'm a coach, I want to coach a lot of people, but I don't want to invest my whole life in it. I don't want to work, 14, 16 hours a day to be able to be a coach. I want to work maybe half a day, have a good life, and along with that, make my coaching also that potent, because adding strength to your skills comes like that, that you don't do too much of it all the time. I've already done my part, and I'm already doing my part. I know this will take some time to happen, but it will give you a higher sense of fulfillment. Currently I have fulfillment in terms of doing what I want, and engaging with very interesting people, coming across very interesting projects. That all I have. But going ahead, I'm seeking to make it more and more productive in lesser number of hours, and then having the balance that, okay, rest of the time I'm investing in learning, I'm investing in reading, because as a coach you need to read a lot. So you're reading and you're making a wholesome career rather than just focusing on delivering all the time. You need input to give some output, right? So the input has to come in and that has to get more importance. So that's something that I'm can't call it a dream, but yeah, focusing on.
It's like enjoy more of your life plus work.
That is happening. See, that is not
Yeah.
a problem. But as I said, input into the work, yes, there are things which help you become better. They give you strength. So in my case, it is going to be reading and doing a lot of other certifications, courses, uh, maybe just spending time to network with different kind of people in the industry, which also again is very engaging as well as fun. So I'm not trying to go away from work in those hours, but the core delivery work, yes, wherein you talk with people, wherein you coach them, that I want to have less of. That is my target.
It's a great thing. I think that's the best point to end this convo. So thank you so much, Kishita, for sharing your insights and knowledge with us. It was a great session for me as well. Keep shining and keep spreading the knowledge.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure interacting with you, and I think this has been very refreshing for me as well. Thank you. Thank you so much, Utkarsh.